Turn my headphones up. Yes.
Yeah.
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 My ring light is fully charged. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is that a New Day t-shirt you're wearing?
See.
How dare you? That's kind of blasphemous since you wish for their downfall.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucked
That's how
up.
I roll, though. It's how I roll.
Yeah, you probably got an Isaiah Thomas jersey too.
No, that will not touch my skin.
That's cool. I
No,
see
no,
with
sir.
the backup box of Bootios in the background.
You never know, man. You never know.
Well, if you're like us and everybody else in the world right now, you're in line for Sony.com to try to get this PlayStation. This
Hopes and dreams.
queue has been ridiculous.
Good luck to you guys.
Good luck to you guys. But yeah, so I've got mine. My phone is completely open. I've got 4 different devices here. But yes, wise men are in the building or in our respective buildings, ready to record the newest episode. How you guys been?
I've been all right.
Okay.
While everybody else was shopping for consoles, I spent like maybe close to $100 on underwear today.
Yeah, we all saw that on Facebook. It was adorable.
When's the last time you bought underwear? Like, bro,
It's like you ain't gonna put my shit out like that.
Every 3 months. Every 3 months, man. All I do is push a button on Amazon. It's all good.
So what do you do with the old ones? You just throw them away?
Yeah, they magically disappear when Mrs. does the laundry. You know?
Sean, hit the button.
Hit the button. Hit the button.
Right.
Shut the fuck. Hit the goddamn button.
Hit the button. That's fucking hilarious.
I'll tell you, I'm like pretty odd and like to the point where like just like, okay, you're just kind of out of control. But every time, so like every 3 months or so, plus every time I go out of town.
Okay.
So every time I go out of town, I don't pack underwear. I don't pack socks.
So you just
you buy them when you get there?
Yeah. First thing I do when I get off the planes, I go to Walmart.
Okay.
So just consider about how much I've traveled in the past 2 years.
Yeah, you got a bunch of shit going on.
So
he got
Boston
Boston draws. He got Disney World draws. Universal draws.
Asking me about my underwear. You need to be asking about what do you guys use as dresser wise? How's your space?
Oh man.
So I got utility shelves. Like I don't even mess with dressers anymore.
That's what's up.
I did buy one for the front room, so we have all the Jordans and my turntables on the top.
It was like I don't know if it was from like a long time ago, but when they used to do MTV Cribs,
yeah,
and they did the one for Scarface.
Oh yeah.
Like his loft in Atlanta, and right. Like you walked in, and he had like a utility shelf in his closet with like brand new packs of underwear, and that was just like a. It's like because I've never bought a quality piece of furniture like that.
Oh, okay.
Every dresser that I've ever bought, and I've bought quite a few in my lifetime. It can be so heavy duty in the front, but it has this cardboard piece in the back. I don't understand that. Like, why am I buying this thing and it just has a piece of cardboard on the back that's going to break after a year? So.
Yeah, I don't get that. It's especially when you buy the little bookshelves. Like I'm staring at mine right now. I'm like,
yeah.
And I just realized that the IKEA ones are really cheap.
Yeah, you could be quality, heavy, tight wood, but like piece of cardboard on the back. I don't get it, so I don't do it anymore.
Buy utility shelves.
Yeah, buy utility shelves to keep it moving.
I mean, yeah, I've got nine boxes of J's on one shelf, so I'm happy.
You need the thing like these is.
Oh no, I have those,
man.
So I don't even want to. Don't give me
That's impressive, man.
They've got. It's like when we get a house, my man cave is going to be impressive. I promise you that.
Sonya be tripping at these. Is just like Like, is his whole wall just shoes? Like,
Yeah.
Gee.
Yeah.
Does he wear them? Who knows?
Once in a
He
while.
may or may not.
Yeah. And they're his. It's his choice. Just like
to some people, they're like art.
Some people are it's profit. Some people it's just art. Like I've got now 3 different pairs of the ones that Jordan wore in the '98 season. So it's like the nostalgia's coming back. Somebody's gonna say something. Jordan's gonna say something. Boom.
I'm still low key working on trying to create a shoe. That's still on the bucket list for me.
You could do that on night. Oh well, you could do it according to what their brand is.
No, I mean like
create a shoe.
Yeah.
Go have fun on 2K. See if you can make that shit work. I can practice there.
They got a whole thing going on, man.
That's horrible. The thing is horrible. I did download 2K21 because they said that the latest patch helped the shooting out a lot better. So I'll be on that later.
I invite you, without giving a spoiler out, if you do get 2K for the next gen, go to G League route.
Okay.
It's a much more entertaining story.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you were talking about the My Career story. It was cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I did get the Mama version, so I get the 100K VC, and free upgrade.
Yeah, all that's sitting in a bank waiting for me to transfer all that over.
Yeah, don't even use it.
Oh, I did open the packs though, because they said that whatever you open in the packs.
That's the only thing that transfers, but because they got rid of the badge system on the next gen system, so there's no more like pogo stick and defensive badges. It's all just attributes, straight attributes.
No, there's badges.
There's badges, but they get assigned to you based off of the attributes that you do. You can't, like with this particular one, you used to be able to put which badges that you wanted on this is on the next gen, not the current gen.
I've watched videos. Yeah, you can still select them.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, but they're reduced.
Yeah,
there's a reduced amount of, and there's physical badges as well.
Well,
so it's mad different.
Whichever badge that I get to dunk on somebody and laugh at their mother.
I just want to shoot from the parking lot. That's just my thing.
Ray Allen. Yeah, Ray Allen
from the parking lot. Do some little metal ball shit and just like straight in from the logo.
Well, you had me with the Ray Allen anywhere. He's got range from anywhere. But then you put LaMelo Ball in it.
I just want I want to do the disrespect that he does on the court. That's it. I want to be disrespectful.
I guess. I really hope the Bulls don't draft him.
I don't think that'll happen. I don't think he'll be available.
Players, like the top players are all point guards and centers, and we have a fucking backstock of those.
I would like that kid from, if possible, that kid from Georgia to fall down to the Bulls. Anthony Edwards.
He ain't falling. He ain't falling unless we move up to 2.
The draft is like next week. Ain't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got basketball in like 20-something days, or like 40,
the draft is
days.
next week.
It's like, congratulations, kid. Get to work.
Well, no, that's cool.
It's in the court next month.
Did you see how they're doing it too with the 72 games?
Yeah.
And then it's a play-in tournament for the 7 to 9 seeds, which is dope. I'm like, okay, cool. This is what they wanted to test out anyways.
Yeah.
So now they're going to be able to do it. Now it's going to be, where the hell are you going to play them with such a fucking outbreak right now? Are you going to put all 30 teams in a bubble?
You're not.
It's going to be nuts.
That's the part I'm not looking forward to. So.
The only way that you can do it, how many teams did they have in the bubble in Disney? They 16? Had all 16?
No, 24.
24, right?
Yeah, because they told I think the last 6 to stay at home.
So theoretically, you can just have all the Western Conference teams in a bubble and then all the Eastern Conference teams in a bubble and just schedule it like that. That would be the safest way. NBA did it right.
At least for the first half of the season.
Yeah, and then you had Daniel House asking for, hey, after you swab my nose, why don't you It's not like Houston was going to contend anyways this season. That shit's about to blow up there too. But here we are. Speaking of video games.
Did
anybody else sign up for the AEW notifications?
Instantly.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
So
I want all that.
Yeah, so they went ahead and announced that they are getting into the video game business, AEW Games.com. We all went. We all saw the fantastic photo of Kenny Omega with the glow.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm down. This is good.
That press conference was hilarious.
It was.
But I mean, that's what Kenny loves, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
big gaming nerd. Let's see what else they can offer us.
There was only one thing missing from that press conference, and that was a joystick. With Kenny Omega, I was expecting a joystick.
Not be surprised with these next gen, because everybody's coming out. Because Sony halted the skins for the PlayStations. Don't be surprised if you got some AEW skins. I'll be sure as hell to get the cleaner logo on my PlayStation. I don't care. It should look as long as it looks dope. With all the cosplay too. Can you imagine?
Oh yeah.
Well, me being a big cricket nerd right now, I do have the SVG outline for the next gen console. So
Cricket, like
the things I've been doing with like I'll be able to skin consoles in a nutshell, basically.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
no, when you said cricket, the only thing I imagined was the Indian version of baseball. I was like, oh. Can you explain the rules to us?
I had somebody explain the rules to me once, and I was like, "Yo."
I was like, "No, I'm just gonna stay over here and play baseball."
No, one time when a bunch of us were like trying to do a pickup game, it's like in high school, and some guys were playing cricket in front of us. We're like, "Oh, we'll just wait for the game was over," and the guy just looked at me like, "Whatever," and I was like, "How long could the game last?" He's like, "A day." I'm like,
"Stop." And then you actually you see people camping out with tents in the
right,
shit like that. They got right there in right field is a food truck.
Right.
Like, oh, okay. He wasn't joking. Yeah, no. I showed Matthew the Among Us one that you did, the sus. That he lost his shit, obviously.
Yeah. So you just let me know what you need. Because I did a Naruto one for somebody else too, so that came out really good.
I saw that Naruto one. If anything, I might hit you up with maybe a small decal.
Can you do controllers?
Yeah.
I need that jelly donut.
Oh.
Okay.
That chaos controller chaos did. I need something like that.
The jelly donut.
Cool.
Yeah. That made all of us in the house giggle when we saw that. We're like, oh, jelly donut.
I want a jelly donut right now.
Bet. So,
we'll put in our orders.
While we're talking about this, of course, I'm going to hook up my friends, but to all of our listeners,
you could get the local price of $100.
You know what I mean? If you voted if you live in a blue county, you may get a discount. You hop in the stakes in Schaumburg, like y'all, nah. We starting at $1,000 for you guys.
Bring up the map, right? Bring up the map.
I put the map on TikTok, and I put the Common song on it. I was like, this is why we don't fuck with you people.
Right.
Hey, fuck you, Hoffman Estate. Fuck you, Springfield. Fuck all you hoes. It's like, nah. It's like, well, why is Illinois? It's like, this election showed that people just don't understand the election process at all.
Mm-hmm.
Or
and I told you, I'm glad that map is up now. I'm glad Google did it the way they did it. So now I'm promising I'm going to be using that like the Green Book.
Oh, yeah. When you were saying that, I was rewatching Lovecraft Country.
Oh yeah.
And what do you call it? The uncle is the author of those books.
Right.
At the time, and I was like, I saw that. I was like,
because me and the missus are like, we've reopened the conversation about buying a house, and I'm just like,
yeah, we ain't going out to these suburbs.
Well, yeah, look at this.
It looks like suburban and Cook County, and up north we're good, but further north that you get past like Skokie.
I'm not gonna lie. when me and the missus went on our little getaway this week, we were straight surrounded by people who were like, "You lost, right? You lost, right? No, we know where we're going."
Yeah.
Walking back, people on the trails like,
you didn't bust out your Biden Harris 2020 face mask.
no. But on the last day, as we were packing, we did blast Bad Bunny from our cottage.
Nice.
Oh, Bad Bunny, nice. Yeah.
We kept it jazzy throughout the entire time we were there until we were like, nah, we're going back home.
That's what I'm saying. You got to leave a positive mark on his life, yo.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're doing it right. You are doing it right.
Like,
Hey,
man.
we sit there. You've been saying it the past 97 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Your vote is.
You vote with your dollars and your attention is currency, yo.
And we've done that. Georgia flipped for the first time. Shout out to Fulton County, Atlanta.
Shout out to Stacey Abrams. That's it.
Stacey Abrams.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
If she's not holding a position that's like, she should be the fucking president.
No, I think based on stuff that I'm hearing in interviews that she's done, she's going to turn it down because she wants to run for governor in 2022.
If the vote turns out like it did for
that's what I'm saying.
She can end up beating, and she should have won that one anyways because that was a conflict.
Mad voter suppression throughout it, yeah.
Well, and he was the Secretary of State doing that suppression tactics while he was in office, so that didn't make any fucking sense. But yeah, I mean that movement doesn't happen without Stacey Abrams. She's fantastic. But these games,
mm-hmm.
We got the console game coming out for next gen, and they're partnered with Ukes, which was not a secret. So we were excited about that. Then they're busting out with the mobile GM simulator, which I know the three of us are going to – go ahead.
Yeah, you're definitely going to mess with that. Not only are they partnering with Ukes, but they actually got the guy who did No Mercy on this project.
Which is arguably the penultimate –
That's the benchmark.
Wrestling game. Yeah.
That's the benchmark.
Yeah, exactly. I'm ecstatic. You know what I was watching the other day? I was watching a video of somebody playing WrestleMania on the Midway games. Remember?
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah,
it was an infinitely better game than any of the WWE 2K games that have come out the last couple of years.
And that's why I'm glad. And I see a lot of comments on Twitter in terms of people kind of misunderstanding it or comparing it to like 2K or whatever. It's just like, no, this is going to be the fun.
This is going to be good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once we gather that Use is going to be involved, I knew we were getting something that was going to be, and he named it too. He said NBA Jam, NFL Blitz. Like that's the type of wrestling game that we're going to get.
And that's what you want, especially with the character portrayals that they're doing out here. I mean, we'll get to that later, but it's like, yeah, I want something campy. I want something fun. I don't want something that's going to be. I don't give a shit if John Cena's chain looks absolutely fucking real. I was like, give me something I can play with that's going to be fun. It's as simple as that. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, so we do got the general manager game, mobile game.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope. I know we're gonna jump on that, the three of us.
But there's also a casino game, so they're kind of covering all spectrums, and it's kind of like they're kind of almost theming it the way that we kind of theme this show. Like it's not necessarily deep rooted wrestling based. They just want anybody to kind of just pick up and play it.
Yeah,
Wait! Don't forget the T-shirt, G.
Oh yeah, the T-shirt.
Britt Baker worked so hard on that T-shirt.
The T-shirt has 2 armholes and a hole for your head. For sure, yo. Like, we getting that. She did a great job.
Yeah, let's give her credit where credit's due.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope
we kind of did rip her cinematic match last week.
No, it was it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
But no, I'm excited about it. I mean, this is the next step for this company to legitimize their threat as, to overtake the big one, right?
So I'm gonna just put this out into the universe because we put a lot of things out on this show, and they come to fruition. I'm putting out this in the universe. Tekken versus AEW game in the next 3 to 4 years
with Kenny as Omega.
Yeah.
Yo, man, if they could pull that shit off, you'll get my $70.
Okay. I like it, but I'm gonna twist it.
Okay.
You gonna put the New Day in it since you broke it?
No. They're split up. They're done. This is their tombstone. Anyway.
That's fucked up.
I like the fighting game, the Tekken fighting game. AEW versus New Japan. Just as a fighting game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Namco's got to be involved just because I want that style. And because New Japan already has a presence on Tekken 7 as we speak. So
yeah. I'm just saying, just do it as a fighting game. Don't even do it as a wrestling game. Do it as a fighting game.
As a fighting game, yeah.
I'd fucking lose my mind. I'd super kick the shit out of you guys with the Bucks. That's all I'm gonna do. Super kicks.
Oh, then we'd have to make it second tag, right?
Oh man, see, there's.
I was thinking about modeling the Young Bucks as one character.
Oh, that would be dope.
Like they do the Turtles on
Yeah, I got you.
Injustice.
Oh yeah, Injustice. Yeah. Was it Donatello? Right? They had Donatello.
Well, they had all the Turtles, but like they had like different combination moves where all four of them would kind of come in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fucking dope.
And also now AEW Games, may I have a job, please?
We're not gonna stop until the Wiseman Wrestling podcast and entertainment group is a partner with the AEW. Simple as that. It'll be fun. I'm excited for it. Just something different, And
the fact that this announcement, no matter where they were in development of any of these games, like they decided to do this on the day like the Xbox dropped. You know what I mean? Like in the midst of new console week. You know what I'm saying? Like a good kind of just. I could only imagine if we had an E3 this year. You know what I mean? What their presence would look like, what their presentation would look like, or what their presence would look like.
But I know this is probably a whole nother podcast, but I'm glad there was no E3 this year.
Yeah.
Just because of the creativity that came about with how each company was able to present their games out and their products out at their will, not necessarily having to, be constricted by a schedule or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the AEW announcements were, I won't say thrown together, but the presentation of it didn't exactly have a lot of expense behind it. Let's just say that. But what they presented, was exciting and fun and exactly what we would want in that situation.
Yep.
I hope I would like E3 as a, going to it possibility, but from a format of getting information out. We've gotten it out all throughout the year now, instead of sandwiching it up between like this Comic-Con and TGS. We've gotten it all over the place this year, which has made the whole year exciting to me.
Can we talk about how exciting 2021 is shaping up to be? If this shit that just came out is for real about these vaccines, like 2021 is going to be a huge year.
I don't see it's almost impossible the amount of stuff that could come out in 2021, just from a movie standpoint.
Just movies. Well, they just delayed WandaVision too until January 15th, 2021. So this is the first year in 15 years?
Yeah.
That we haven't had a Marvel movie, or 10 years. Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
So this is going to be, 2021 is going to be insane.
It's gonna be insane if we can get in the movie theaters or better. In my opinion, better yet, if Disney, and I'm gonna call out Disney because they're the biggest company. If Disney can figure out a way to get their movies to people in a model that's satisfactory for them from a financial standpoint, but yet not screwing everybody over at the same time. Because from a movie theater standpoint, we're talking next summer before anybody packs a movie theater.
Absolutely.
So I don't think Disney's going to sit another 8 more months without putting out these big movies they've been sitting on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Mulan experiment failed financially for them. You know, people weren't sucking up trying to rent it for $30 a pop. So they got to go back to the drawing board and figure out some way to get this stuff out to people, financially, you know, justifying it. I mean, I still think in the long run, movie production is going to get budget cuts across the board. That's just something we're going to have to live with, at least for now. But yeah, I mean, Disney has like what I think about 2 years of movies just sitting in a vault.
At least,
Mm-hmm.
at least right now, yeah.
You know, and now they're starting to film movies again.
Yeah,
So that's going to make it even like the Matrix movies are almost done filming.
Spider-Man 3 is currently in production. The Batman is almost done finally with production. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That backlog is going to become even further, and companies aren't going to be able to spend all this money without making any money.
yeah, they got to figure out something. It doesn't make any sense that they haven't figured it out yet. Like
I don't
could
see.
say this.
I mean, I guess, you know, to successfully run a business, you gotta respect the budgets that you put forth, and kind of incorporate your in your game plan. But at the same time, I just don't feel that much sympathy for a multi-billion-dollar company to just take a loss.
Oh no, I don't either.
You know,
I
what
just
mean?
know from a business standpoint, they're not just going to sit there and be like, okay, well, we're going to sit on this for another year.
No, I think that at some point the strategy is just to put them out in a way that we can consume them.
Right.
And it's one of those things where this is a defining moment where you're either going to sink or swim.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the swimmers are the ones who are going to do something for their loyal fan base in exchange for that profit later.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Because if it's quality, when we can go back to the movie theaters, we will go back and we will remember as consumers who looked out for us when we couldn't. You know what I mean?
And I think you always hit on the point of attention as currency. And if our attention sways in another direction too much, some may not go back.
Right.
You know, and myself, I'm an avid movie goer, but if I find myself something to occupy that time that I used to go to the movies that I don't want to pull back from once movies start coming back out, you know, then sucks to be you.
I mean, we could apply this to the wrestling industry. I think they're going to be great once they can start packing houses again, because we as fans are going to remember that during this time, they didn't take time off.
Correct.
They still put out a product. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's it. And that's not just the big two. You know, you got to give shout outs. I give special shout outs to, you know, what they would consider the little guys in this regard, who came up with more creative ways, you know, filling high school, you know, football stadiums, drive-in wrestling events, like literally holding it anywhere they could during this time, and, you know, still trying to do it. I give shots to them. I mean, yeah, we can easily give shouts out, you know, to the big two, one of which owns the arena they've been, you know, shooting in for the past 8 months.
Right.
You know, which happens to be an open air arena. You know, you can't really get much better than that right now. And then basically, you know, the other renting out an arena that was going to sit empty for 6 months because of the NBA bubble anyway. So they're able to get that on a severe ass discount. Now, oh my God, they have to find somewhere else to go because NBA is going to actually start playing again. Oh, pity. But, you know, it's more shout out to the other guys who made it work, and the wrestlers who were willing to work within that structure. You know, for example, most of the people that we like to keep up with here in Chicago, they had to travel, you know, and, you know, they're used to kind of sticking within the Midwest, or, you know, and taking trips, you know, down south every once in a while for like a circuit or two. But, you know, these people were going, you know, GCW out east, coming back Midwest to do the fairgrounds in Indiana. You know, now they're starting to creep back down south. Eddie Kingston's got Grindhouse coming up. You know, so, you know, they're starting to spread out a little bit. We haven't heard anything out west, which is surprising. But
yeah,
I think with the close of stuff like bar wrestling and wrestling circus, that kind of hurt that area big time. So, and it's easier to keep everybody in one place because everybody can travel around. So,
right.
but
And
yeah, that's who I shot.
And yeah, double shouts out to GCW. They've been doing their thing.
Mm-hmm. And they've been willing to make it work in all areas too.
Yeah,
You know, they came out to the Midwest where that's not necessarily their territory per se, you know, and made it work for a nice weekend of wrestling, teaming up with just about everybody who would have wrestled or just put on something during WrestleMania weekend to kind of give us a mini WrestleMania weekend. Warrior Wrestling for the series of shows they put on, which was like almost like what 4 or 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
or
like,
something like that?
I think it's like 5 weeks in a row.
I mean, that was nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to salivate about trying to make a show every month out there. And then they just went back to back to back on us. And I'm like,
with quality shows at that.
Oh, yeah. Every single time, the same type of packed show. You know, you got to give props to them. And that's why this winter is going to get interesting about how that creativity evolves for some. You know, we almost saw it Wednesday when AEW almost wrestled in a hurricane.
And I kept pointing it out at times during the episode. I'm like, oh shit, the wind's really blowing.
No, you can see the rain in the ring sometimes, yo.
Yeah, the ring skirt was blowing up. Like,
I was like, oh snap.
It's like, do they get hazard pay for that?
It's like that's where Brandy got that fire from, man. Hurricane surge, you know.
Real quick about video games, though. I know I've been singing the praises about Miles Morales and the time that we sit there and say representation matters. I can't express the happiness I have about the game originating in Spanish Harlem. All the Puerto Rican flags that are everywhere, the use of Spanish in the video game, and he still recognizes, you know, his Afro Latino roots and everything. They really did justice to the game because it's like a continuation of what Marvel and Sony were telling all these kids in the Spider-Verse that anyone can wear the mask. And man, I'm geeking out. I see a big ass Spider-Man mural in the middle of Harlem with the Puerto Rican flag dripping all over the place. I'm like, I gotta get a screenshot of this and put this on a t-shirt. That'd be fucking dope. But I'm excited about that.
I'll make it happen. Send me the screenshot. I got you.
I know. I want the AEW with.
But I don't want us to.
What do you want?
But I don't want us to cry about WWE's financial situation, considering they're about to have their most profitable year ever, and Tony has recently said after Full Gear they're fine, like more than fine, because literally everything they're doing is a write-off right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because they own the hotel where all the people are staying at. They own the daily place where it's going. That's a business expense. I think their biggest cost right now, besides obviously labor, probably be their COVID testing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure they should be able to.
Oh, they'll get some government backing to get that
as a
chopped
part
down
of
too.
As a part of the CARES Act, right? Because they were deemed essential workers.
No, WWE only.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it helps to have your small business administrator, your former administrator, as your wife.
Correct. So, I mean, either way, they're both of those organizations are doing quite well. In fact, they just announced today that Full Gear had 100,000 pay-per-view buys, which isn't anything to shake at all.
No.
Because especially that was $50 a pop. I mean, that's a pretty penny.
Yep. That's very significant during a time where money is supposed to be tight for people, and you know, wrestling is not that popular, but that's still impressive. That's an impressive number.
Mm-hmm.
What do we know offhand? What they did on the All Out pay-per-view?
Yeah, I got that here. Give me a second.
Look at that stats guy.
Mm-hmm.
Stats. All Out, you said? All Out they did between $100K and 110.
So it's right in line.
Yeah.
What they had.
Double or Nothing did 120.
Okay.
So that makes sense because that was like the first big pay-per-view after.
And when you hear them talk about them doing that, they're fine. I just reminded of like a while back when I learned, when I was learning things about like real estate investing, and then like the idea that you make that deal, saying at the beginning, if you're building this 75% occupies 75% of the time, if it covers 100% of the cost, then you're good.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's the business plan that AEW had.
Right.
Because where those numbers may be meager in contrast to like the bigger company, the fact that, not only are they doing well, but the network that they're working for, is very pleased with their progress. It makes me feel like that they made the correct deal at the beginning, and that's great. That's great for everybody around. That means people are getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For sure. Good stuff.
And I think he also mentioned that we are getting that third hour in 2021.
Yeah.
But he did, at least Cody said it's not a third hour onto Dynamite.
Right.
Yeah, he
said no, we're not doing that.
Twitter. Yeah. He said that straight up on Twitter that they're not going to do that.
It'll be a separate show. I feel like they should keep Dark the way it is and then have it be its own entity.
Yes.
Not sure what you want to do with it. At this point, depending on how many people are still overseas, you might want to try something like that. I don't know. That's just me spitballing here, because you got a lot of people who, you got SEMA and his crew overseas. You got all the Stardom girls overseas. You still got some UK people over there. I mean, you could try to pull the, what they've been doing and bringing people over one by one. I don't know what box they snuck Pac in, but they got him back over here. But it can be done. We've seen it with WWE. We, obviously seen it with AEW. People can travel back and forth. I mean, Jay White was over here for a long time before he went for the G1 Climax. So
it might be coming by ship.
It's a good way to think about it. I don't know what ships are going back and forth, but yeah.
I mean, that'll be a controlled environment. You'll be on the ship long enough. That'll be considered a quarantine. As long as you get on the ship correctly, like, you're good.
Well, that's a tricky scenario because they've been trying to cruise forever in the States. Mm-hmm. And they just sent one ship out that only had, like, I think 500 people on it.
Yeah.
They already almost shut that down because there was 15 cases of COVID on it already. So
they're not the problem. It's us. We're the problem.
Oh no shit. No shit.
We are the Florida of the planet.
Oh gosh. I mean, I don't think that's a secret anymore. I think that's why everybody, I think we've seen it over the last week. All the local leaders not local, but global leaders jumping out, but like, hey, congratulations, Biden. Like, not even hesitant. Congratulations. Even China did it today. Like, we like to congratulate you. Now, I don't see even China in the sense like they wouldn't, but that's significant in the sense that they don't typically extend themselves out over our way too often.
Right.
But continuing on as we relate to these, do you have any? I have thoughts about the GM simulator.
Okay.
I'm cautiously optimistic about the mobile GM simulator because it's mobile. Right. Anything that comes out on a mobile game, I get cautious about because, all right, if you're going to give me a mobile simulator, make me pay for it up front. Yeah. I'd rather you take my $10 or $15 up front and nickel and dime me throughout the process.
Yeah, you know that mobile games typically are fundraisers.
Correct.
I would hope. I think your optimism comes from the fact that actual gamers are working on it.
Right.
And they will keep that in mind that we don't like that.
Yeah. I really hope they do something where it's like, I don't want a situation where I have to pay for $1 to get Kenny Omega on my roster or something stupid. Something to that effect.
Yeah.
I mean, the casino game, I don't care. I expect you to try to take all my money in a casino game. That's just what it is. You get what you pay for. Exactly. But yeah, the GM simulator, I'm kind of like, and even no matter how we got to do it, we got to find a way to stream that because we have to make that happen. And what kind of split would it be? You know, it was easy with WWE. You had like Raw versus SmackDown, but it'd be interesting to see how they would do it, how you would compete against other people.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be like one big old leaderboard or something like that. Something to that effect. But there's got to be some kind of head up competition going on there. Moving on. Rod, how many times are we going to say goodbye to the Undertaker?
Hold on. Let's carry the one.
This
is where you insert that meme with a person working out the math problem.
Yeah. I'm just going to point out some of the ones that I remember where we said goodbye to the Undertaker. We said goodbye to the Undertaker WrestleMania 33 when Roman beat him.
Mm-hmm.
We supposedly said goodbye to him. I want to say his next match, SummerSlam. I can't remember the match, but it was him and Roman versus somebody, whatever. Then more recently, we said goodbye to him when it came to WrestleMania, the cinematic with AJ. We said goodbye to him during the last ride.
There was an episode of SmackDown.
There was another episode of SmackDown where it's like a tip of the cap of the Undertaker. And now we're going to say goodbye to the Undertaker again at Survivor Series as it marks 30 years of the Undertaker. Bruh. I'm kind of done, man.
If you take away like at least 3 of those other goodbyes, this one makes a little bit more sense.
I get it from a ceremonial standpoint.
Yeah, the Undertaker debuted at Survivor Series
30 years ago.
30 years, and I think almost to the day, if I'm not mistaken.
And I get that from that standpoint. The reason I say how many times can we, because I know this is not the end.
Right.
Because he signed on for what, another, I think, 14 more years or something?
Yeah. It was a 15-year deal he signed.
And so, like, to make this big, and I'm not saying it's not a big deal, but every time you do something for The Undertaker, you have to top it. You know what I'm saying? You did like literally a last dance, like, documentary on him.
Mm-hmm.
You did this. You did the cinematic, match for WrestleMania. No offense. No one's had a better year in WWE than The Undertaker. Consistently through, from being celebrated.
Yeah. Yay for nostalgia.
I'm just saying, and I know it's a little bit difficult, to kind of find new ways to entertain us in this environment. But, they're even talking about bringing out his old crew, in almost like a This Is Your Life type scenario, by bringing back like Savio Vega, the Godfather, obviously Kane, and a couple others that used to roll with him, on the road back in the day.
Right.
There's, and they're even calling it the final farewell, which is, bro, like, come on, man, don't even lie to us like that. You can't even lie to us like that because we know it's not the final farewell. Like, you're going to let him sit home for 13 years and get paid.
You know what makes most of this a conversation? Is the fact that we're being polite about the situation, knowing that the only thing certain things in this company will end is in death. And that's the long and short of it. When we talk about the Undertaker retiring, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about 2 crackheads. We're talking about Mark Calloway and Vince McMahon. 2 crackheads that are not going to help each other get off of crack. That's the long and short of it. Either someone else is going to have to intervene, which you really can't because the Undertaker is an icon and Vince is, he flip-flops between millionaire and billionaire. Two guys that you can't tell nothing. And they're just going to keep going.
Mhm.
As long as Vince asks, Undertaker will do.
And you saw that in the documentary because not even his wife can do anything about it.
Right.
And that, and we're both married. And we both know that there are certain limits to what our significant others would allow us to go.
Mm-hmm.
To where they'd be like, bro, you done.
Right.
And if in this scenario, that doesn't even hit the Undertaker, that it's obvious Michelle doesn't want him to wrestle anymore. She just wants her husband, the father of her children, to be that right now. And I don't necessarily see them as someone who needs money per se. As long as, they keep selling his merchandise or per se.
Right.
And he doesn't, I haven't heard or read any stories about him misspending money or having bad investments or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, this just all comes down to, it happens in football a lot where people just, as if they could walk onto the field, they just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally because that's all they know. That's all they've ever known. So I just hope it doesn't come to that. I hope this doesn't become like a precursor to a dark side of the ring we see 10 years from now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's going down that path. Especially after the last ride, because we literally saw it in his eyes that he doesn't want to do it anymore. He appears to be a very humble man, so this pomp and circumstance is not something he wants anyway. So
Right.
It's literally they're bringing him out there to show off their favorite pony, for money. We need a pop for, Survivor Series. We're going to use Undertaker to do it. And you compare that to how, what went on with, Jericho with his 30-year his was a 30-year celebration.
Right.
This almost feels like a funeral. In comparison.
Yeah.
There was a big celebration. You had all these stars, chime in, tip their cap from all different organizations. Had an old boy from New Japan, tip his cap to Jericho, on TV and everything like that. It was a celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And with Undertaker, not only are you pushing Undertaker out there, but you're bringing back guys that the people watching aren't going to even know.
No.
Like the people that are watching, that hit that 18 to 34 that everybody wants to grab for right now, they might not know who the Godfather is. They might not give two damns about Zelina Vega. They're not going to be able to bring, well, they can, but they're just not going to bring any current stars to celebrate him. They're not going to do for him what they did for Flair. And that's what should happen.
Mm.
Like people like Brock should come out, tip their cap battle. If you want a big pop, convince CM Punk to go out there and shake his hand or something like that. Edge, people who have had those matches with him, Mick Foley.
Right.
Go up to him.
I was going to say, have Brock come out there and call him an old man like he did Hogan.
I call him Grandpa. That's a difference.
Grandpa.
I call him Grandpa. And that's cool. Even if you do that, I mean, That shows more respect than anything else.
Yeah.
But I am one of Taker's biggest fans ever, and it's just sad to see this over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like it was like seeing Jordan in a Wizards out in a uniform. like, bro, we didn't need to see that.
That was like heartbreaking every time that happened. Every time he stepped on the court, it was just like,
Right. Or like when Pippen came back to the Bulls that last season. No one wants to talk about that, but it happened and it was tragic. It's just not what we want. So I don't know what to say. It's just,
you bring up Pippen, that's a whole nother sad situation. Like, just
when you watch The Last Dance, you cannot help but just like want to give Pippen a hug.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, bro, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. And then you see him get like treated on like NBA Live now, and you're like, dude, y'all need to shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. And in this whole situation with his, I don't know if is that his ex-wife, his current wife? What's going on?
Oh, I don't even want to talk about that. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh man. That's just that's just so horrible to think about.
Wow. Just wow.
Indeed. Yeah, I completely understand what you're talking about, but it's like it was bad enough when she was playing around with what was it, Future for a while?
Mm-hmm.
And now she like, yo, I hooked up with Kardashian. What'd she say? I hooked up with who'd she say she hooked up with now? Somebody Tristan Thompson. I'm like, God.
Yeah, no, it's nasty.
No, technically that's still his wife. Oh, poor baby. Oh my God.
Yeah, this is one sad over the next.
Man, I can't. I can't.
Is it really cheaper to keep her? I guess he feels like I just got this money. Like, I just got through bragging about this. What is it? Basketball court in this crib, or something? Yeah. So Survivor Series.
Yeah, let's go there. Let's move on. Survivor Series, I guess it's gonna happen, but I just can't help but feel like they've again what feels like the fourth pay-per-view in a row. WWE has booked themselves in a corner.
Yeah.
In the sense that none of the major storylines that they have right now are going to be featured in this pay-per-view.
So this is how
we are about a little over. We are a week and 2 days from Survivor Series, and we have no build as if to the actual matches that are going to take place.
So we talked about this a little last week. Like, this is what happens when you commit to these annual gimmick pay-per-views. And I know Survivor Series is considered a big one. It's one of the big four. But, if you're not going to start building storylines going into it, and I'm not sure if, the COVID outbreak in NXT had anything to do with them kind of switching plans from what they were probably thinking about doing. But, like, if you're not going to start building storylines at least a month out, like they're doing in NXT, like they brought Pat McAfee back and they created a faction because they know that they're going into War Games. They know they're going in that direction and they know they need these two teams at least to go in there and have this match. I mean, you can question whether or not we needed to have an annual War Games every year, but at the same time, like, they know they're coming up on it. Let's build something toward that with this main roster. And I'm not sure if it's a monkey wrench thrown in or, it just seems like an afterthought. Like, they have a direction that they're going with storylines, and it's like, oh, yeah, we got to do something for Survivor Series.
Right.
And we're just going to bank on the fact that there's this thing called Survivor Series that's considered one of the major pay-per-views, and people are just going to kind of buy into it no matter what. This is what happens when you're at the top of the mountain and you perceivably don't have any competition, and you're making so much money hand over fist, you don't feel like you need to do anything significant. You just got people that's going to work for you and just going to do what you tell them to do. Do the Survivor Series thing, but don't do your Twitch. And it just keeps on going.
I mean, this is, according to CBS Sports, this is the card, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
Because like half of these matches, while they say this is the card, I have not heard officially announced. Roman versus Randy, champion versus champion. Asuka versus Sasha Banks. Now I heard New Day versus Street Profits announced.
But they've been actually building to that match.
Right. That seems like it almost makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy versus Bobby Lashley.
Sammy has at least been doing his part.
Right.
Building to this match.
Undertaker theme. We got that. And the 2 Eliminator matches that are taking place. Now, a wrinkle that's been coming out over the last 24 hours, and this has been reported by several outlets. Survivor Series is going to be Seth Rollins' last match of 2020.
Okay.
Because Becky's due any day.
Mm-hmm.
Or not any day, but soon. So that'll be interesting to see how they write him out. But they definitely say like that, or I guess no, it would have to be that night. And it wouldn't make sense to wait all the way to Friday to do it. But yeah, essentially that's supposed to be his final match until after maternity leave or whatever kind of leave they take.
Mm-hmm.
I would say he comes back Royal Rumble. That would make some more sense to me, depending on when the baby's born. Because she said she was pregnant. She was pregnant WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
Which was April. 9 months would get us to January. If she was only a few weeks. Maybe, late December into January is probably around when her due date is. So that'll be interesting, per se. And then he's in this major storyline that's supposed to somehow just be done with. And I guess that's why they've been leaning towards Murphy in this angle than him, which is, again, none of this stuff makes sense right now. Asuka versus Sasha should be a big deal right now.
Right.
Because they don't know how to have a bad match together. They just don't. Especially with Sasha debuting on The Mandalorian tonight. That'll be interesting to see how they hype that up tonight.
Right.
Because you know how WWE loves their main, their crossover stars and all that kind of shit. But other than that,
so for me, like Asuka and Sasha, we've seen that multiple times this year. So it's kind of it's not a complete groan that we're going to see it again. But this match is very telling as to this could have been Asuka, Sasha, EO.
Mm-hmm.
This is the match to me that stands out and says, "Oh, why isn't NXT a part of this?" You know what I'm saying? It makes me ask that question. Only because we've seen it so many times this year.
Yeah, I stopped asking that once there was a statement put out saying that WWE is purposely keeping NXT away from the rest of the roster due to COVID concerns.
Right.
So once they said that just makes sense. So I was like, all right, fine. And then they're going to have their own takeover, which, again, that's not being hyped up either. I don't even know when that is. And that's a whole nother podcast because I just have thoughts about NXT in general right now. That is just disappointing. But But the other things that I point out, like Randy and Roman, you got heel versus heel. Asuka versus Sasha, technically that's face versus face. And Lashley versus Sammy is heel versus heel. That's some shit AEW does. AEW doesn't believe really in heels versus heels and, faces.
Right.
But WWE sure as hell does.
They do.
So leading up to this makes no fucking sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know I've heard some people say that Randy could lose the title to Drew Monday night, which would make more sense. But then again, if it was Randy versus Roman, Randy could take that L and not really lose a beat. There's no way they're going to have Roman lose. I just don't think so. They're building him up too strong like that. He's like in Brock territory.
Like none of these matches, because it has the champion versus champion attached to him, like none of these matches really mean anything. I mean, they don't mean anything, but they don't have that feeling.
Didn't they have stakes last time? Like the winners got the 30th thing in the Royal Rumble?
Well, see, that's the thing, and that's what I was going to mention. Jason Salamonster on his podcast, he mentioned that, a lot of these matches, Survivor Series doesn't feel special anymore because there are no stakes. And the fact of the matter is that it's been some years since stakes have been involved. I think it's been at least like 3 or 4 Survivor Series. This is the last times there were stakes involved. This is the last time that you can actually win something from Survivor Series. Dolph Ziggler was the last person to win something. I think he won like a Rumble spot.
No, what Dolph won when he won in that one was the Authority angle.
Right.
When Steen came, the Authority was out of power.
Everybody
else lost them. Everybody else, either their team would lose all their jobs or the Authority would lose power. That's stakes. It's a reason to watch the match.
Yeah, I mean I'm saying, like you saying last year. I'm saying no, that's the last time.
Yeah, I got you.
It hasn't been ever since.
So I hate to break this, but I just had something come across Twitter that I think we need to discuss ASAP.
Okay.
I'm just going to read it. WWE has come to terms with the release of Zelina Vega. We wish her the best in her future endeavors.
AEW go sign her ASAP. ASAP.
Something tells me this has something to do with outside.
Yep.
Twitch stuff, like that whole thing. This tells me that the fight is on. I don't know if it's a group thing.
I need to see Alistair go with her.
Yeah, he needs to go. They're not doing anything right with him. He needs to go.
That's a hell of. I mean,
this could be another tactic like they're doing with like Rusev and Lana. I'm sorry, Miro and Lana. We're not, but yeah. I mean, this feels like good news.
No, that's why I wanted to break through because I was like, yo, like as soon as I had it on my Twitter feed come up, I was like, okay, now we need to talk about this.
She's been all over the place.
And she's made it clear, like, I'm not stopping shit.
Go for her. She's a star.
And people are reporting, I got to find her Twitter. I don't know if it's still up. But apparently she made some pro-union tweets earlier.
Oh, shit.
So
I'll look for it real quick.
Let me see. I just pulled up her Twitter feed. Yep. 38 minutes ago, I support unionization.
It's starting. It's starting.
So this is
38 minutes ago. She support unionization.
So this is how we going to end 2020. This is how we going to end.
25 minutes ago, WWE put out their statement saying she's been released.
Hey,
okay, so
look for her. She can write her ticket wherever she goes. She could be insanely. She doesn't even have to wrestle.
Now, mind you, Zelina has also, in recent weeks, or months, if I'm correct, and please correct me if I'm wrong. She has started a TikTok.
Yeah.
She has started an OnlyFans.
What? Say what?
It was tastefully done. Stop it. It was like cosplay shit.
What do you mean? Stop it. I mean, that's
No, it was that face
I mean,
like immediately. Like
all I'm hearing I'm a married man. All I'm hearing is ching, 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 ching.
Right.
Hey, if Chris Brown can do it.
Doesn't Tigger have an OnlyFans too?
I'm not talking about Tigger.
Okay.
This is a Tigger free podcast.
Tigger free zone? My bad. You were gone for like 30 minutes. I didn't know what kind of podcast.
My apologies. I got a phone call from Ecuador. My father.
Okay, cool.
So
you got to do that, man.
I had to take that call. So I appreciate
it. It's okay. You didn't miss anything. We talked about Survivor Series. You missed absolutely nothing.
I heard. No, I had the headphones on the entire time, and I wanted to just put it on mute and like, man, fuck this bullshit with the Undertaker. Just retire already. I heard you guys were being too polite. I'm like, damn it, they need the angry Puerto Rican angle. Fuck this shit. But I wanted to be. I haven't had a phone call like this in a while. I needed that.
Hang on to this date, Thursday, February 11th, 2021. That'll be 90 days from today.
Okay.
Guess what's right after that?
Double or Nothing?
Nope. Revolution.
Oh, I thought Revolution was before then. I thought it was early February.
Late February.
Oh, they changed it to late February?
No, you went on the 29th.
It was on the 29th. Yeah, it was on the 29th. Yeah. Okay. Hey.
Yep. So.
Yo, she would. I'm saying right now because I'm desperate to see something happen with that women's division. Even if she doesn't wrestle, I'd rather hear Zelina Vega's voice in AEW than fucking Vicky Guerrero.
I think we're gonna start seeing.
Not to mention the fact that she's a huge gamer too, and you just announced your gaming division, and the traffic alone, she's a gold mine.
Just fucked up.
She can also wrestle.
She can wrestle.
she can wrestle. She would be fucking dynamite.
For no pun intended, she would be dynamite in that division. Good for her. We should celebrate steaks and champagne tonight. I'm having steaks for dinner.
I'm having chicken tacos. I think. I'm not sure.
Chicken tacos. I think. He looked over his shoulder. Can you confirm? Can we get a confirmation, please? What is that? An orange?
No, the queso.
Oh, you opened it. Oh, look at you. Nice.
It's one of the things I'm good for around
here. I didn't hear her dispute anything. I just heard a ha.
She laughed over that. She laughed, yeah.
Yeah.
Dump the garbage, open things.
I mean, it's just so easy for us to think that everybody's just going to go over to AEW, but let's just be real. AEW just scored another powerhouse cosplayer.
Straight up.
I'm saying if we're talking about theoretical boxes, what box doesn't she check?
All of them.
Exactly. This would be a huge, and then if you get Aleister Black too.
Yo, they could come in like Killer Cross came in and Scarlett came into NXT.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. Like, sign me up.
All right. But we'll see how that works out. I mean, I think this is one domino. Because I do want to kind of talk about this because it is brought up something that I've kind of just seen over the last 8 months from WWE. And it's a very corporate thing, and it doesn't drive me nuts. It's just very evident to me. They've dumped their high salaries and signed low ones.
Mm-hmm.
So they got rid of in April, in that massive cut they did. They got rid of all what we would consider their bloated salaries, right? They got rid of the Good Brothers. They got rid of, they did fire, Miro.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of other people who had actually recently re-signed for larger deals than they're probably honestly worth, right? And now they've recently, over the last 30 to 60 days. They basically signed Evolve. That's what their whole NXT class is. That's Evolve. You know, they're Evolve's last champion, Kurt Stallion, Anthony Green. I mean, they changed all their names, but still. Leon Ruff. And they signed Alex Zane, who was a big indie star. We've seen him at freelance. He wrestled in
Taco
Evolve
Bell
a few times. But they're signing all these guys, and it came out today. They're signing these guys to downsides of 60 to 80 grand. And you should let that sit for a second. Last year, we were reporting NXT people making, I think, between 100 and 250. Somewhere in that ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
The downsides for these new signees were somewhere between 60 and 80. And they were dumping salaries in the 500 range. When we were talking about the Good Brothers, were each about 500.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how WWE's made themselves so profitable over the last 8 months. And it shouldn't come to a surprise of anybody.
Not at all.
Basically, NXT is about to become Evolve. For good or bad, depending on how you look at it. Because NXT will not have two very important things in my mind. Three. That made Evolve. They won't have Gabe, who made Evolve, birthed Evolved, was Evolved, basically. They won't have the voice of Evolve, who I enjoyed. I forget his name, but he was always entertaining to me.
Yeah.
And one of the more important ones that I don't think anybody's really talked about is AR Fox. AR Fox trained, I would say, about 5 or 6 people you watch on NXT right now, including Theory, Leon Ruff. There's one other person I can't think of off the top of my head. But WWE is not going to sign him for the same reason they waited so long to sign Matt Riddle. He's had for whatever reason, he's just class personality-wise with everybody he's worked with. But he's a damn good, coach and trainer. And he's damn good in the ring. And he has good fashion sense, according to Raymond. With the jeggings,
You might get some jeggings with wise men written on its ass.
That's okay.
For Christmas.
Hey, we're officially waiting for tomorrow for our PlayStation 5s. I just got the thing.
What do you mean?
Look at your screen. Your queue.
Oh, yeah. No, I saw that a while back. I saw that while I was on the phone. I was like, I almost said fuck on the podcast and in a phone call with my dad.
That's not good.
Fuck! I'm just going to buy it off of fucking eBay at this point. I mean,
I'm not that. I can't do it.
I saved throughout this pandemic. It's time to treat myself.
There you go.
As if the 12 Jordans that I have in the front room weren't treating myself.
But I mean, as we talk about this unique change from, and that's why WWE has kind of made this stance, in my opinion, with their stars about do it our way or get out, because they're just backloading another roster of stars for anybody who doesn't want to play ball with them.
That's fine. Congratulations to the guys who just recently signed. Just know your worth and know your value, and just know that there's a way out. It's been proven time and time again. Mm-hmm. So if the price gets too much for you, I know you're between a rock and a hard place when you want to have principles, but you also need to eat. So I can't really fault guys too much in terms of doing that. while seeing clearly exactly what they're doing and kind of looking at the landscape as to what was happening, it's in the world versus the industry. So just good luck to those guys. And hopefully there'll be a bigger change coming that will make it kind of fair for everybody in the long run. Props to anybody who believes in unionization. We've kind of said it here on this podcast a lot. We don't think that's going to happen. But we definitely do think something is going to happen. There are forces out there that are working to kind of change and rectify the way these business practices. The WWE has had long enough, and any other company like them has had long enough to change. And now I want to say pretty soon, in some form or fashion, they're going to be forced to change something through legislation or what have you. So,
Yang gang.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see any of that happening. Here's why.
Okay.
The reason I don't see unionization happening in wrestling is because of the guys getting paid at the top of it.
Okay. Well, we've already established that. So
yeah, that's why I don't think because if any legislation was to happen, it would have to be supported by the major wrestlers. Just like anything that's, any CBA action that we see in sports. Basically what happens, and it happens with football, it happens with basketball, what the major stars want is usually what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys at the bottom, the middle to the bottom, get effed over.
Yeah, no, I understand it from that perspective. The reason why I still have hope is because there's old money and there's new money.
Got you.
You know what I mean? And I'm looking at the Zelina Vega situation as somebody who was. I mean, you can say so you can say what you want about her being released, but if you're going to go on Twitter and say I support unionization, like you're sealing your own fate. You know what I mean? Like everything else that happens is just inevitable.
Oh yeah.
But you're saying the thing that's going to get you fired, and you're okay with that. You're okay with leaving away. You're okay with walking away from old money because you know how to get new money. And we're overdue, but it's time. It's time for new money to take over. You know what I mean? There might be something bigger to kind of change and corral that. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna have you keep in mind that there's cryptocurrency that's right around the corner from new money, which is the next thing. We'll get to that later. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you got people who are on Twitch playing mortgages, fuck, they need a job for. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm looking at it from that perspective. Like at the end of the day, people who want to keep the old money are going to be able to keep the old money and be able to dictate what happens in that space. But who we just voted into office and the people that he's going to empower over the next 4 years is going to be geared towards this new money. And when the WWE wants to be a part of that new money, when the old guard wants to be a part of that new money, there's going to be rules they're going to have to follow in order to get it. Because the young boys are going to be like, nah, Grandpa. We ain't got nothing for you over here unless you're willing to do this. And I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah, we're not going to change Vince McMahon. We're not going to change billion-dollar corporations. But they better be good with what they have. Because people are putting themselves in position to not need them anymore. Shout out to Liv Morgan studying for her real estate license. using the word career. I'm surprised I didn't get her put on the map.
Swerve.
This is so exciting to me.
And I'm not putting this out there to correct people right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm stating it as of right now. Her name is Thea Trinidad.
There we go.
There we go. Give her name.
All right.
Even Matthew was excited. Oh, yes.
So I just tweeted that because I think we need to correct that ASAP.
Yes.
I look forward to seeing that Twitter account come up so we can follow it and support it. And the fact that happens 2 hours before showtime, whew, love it. Another thing that we kind of love this week, we could just ask the question: who the hell is Jade Carghill?
Well, you know what? We got something. Somebody asked that question too. And allow me.
Who the hell told you tonight was open mic night, bitch? Your dizzy ass up here looking real confused, so let me spell this out for you. You up in my house, smacking your gums at my man, and now you my problem. I'ma make this real easy for you. Don't you ever talk to him like that again. Don't you even look at him. And you know what else you can do? You can take your ratchet, trifling ass right up off my stage and do not come back unless I send for you. Do you understand me, heifer? Ooh, good, great, cool. Bitch, get your ass out of here.
Well, that's who Jade Cargill is.
Mm-hmm.
The recipient of that, the new heel.
Right.
Yo,
Now,
hold on. The cherry on top was Jade smacking Brandy in the ass as she walked away. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those who don't know what happened before this new girl, Jade Carghill, introduced herself and began to talk shit to Cody for about, let's say, 45 minutes. About him calling himself a giant killer and then teasing the potential of Shaq coming to AEW. This is a whole nother situation. All right, that's fine. Because Shaq wrestling right now should not be a story. I'm sorry. This is me.
Yo, when she
Right.
hold on. When she came out, did you hear this in the background?
So this is why I asked this question. Because they put this girl out, a woman. She's a woman. She's a grown-ass woman. They put Jade out there in a big-time spot for her debut. They didn't sneak her out there on dark. They didn't put her in no tag team. They gave her close to what I would, not is a hard comparison, but it's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. They gave her the Jericho treatment. Jericho versus The Rock. They put her out there to verbally go back and forth with the biggest star in the company for her debut. Obviously, they think highly of this young lady. This young lady has only been wrestling or even training since early 2019. But she has been trained by A.R. Fox, Heath Slater, and QT Marshall, which are names we know, and people who run big-time wrestling schools. My thought process, just from a look standpoint, attitude standpoint, background standpoint, because this woman used to play basketball for a very long time. And if you look up her some of the training videos she has put up from her wrestling training, she's an athlete. Impressively so. I'm not saying she's a wrestler yet because I haven't seen her do a wrestling match. But just from everything, the package that they put together, she seems to be AEW's answer to Bianca Belair.
Not until she starts the deadlifts. She bench presses.
Right.
Well, there's two things to note here.
Yeah.
And this is where, once again, the Wiseman Wrestling Podcast lives. I showed this video to my wife, and then I showed her the video what happened before because you couldn't really see Jade in the Randy video, but there's another video that shows, her kind of going in on Cody.
Yeah.
Tina knew who she was.
Yeah.
So let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with somebody who has
She's not a nobody. I don't want to point her out like she's a nobody.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but like when I say Tina knows who she is, that's still on another level. Mind you, we don't have cable in this house. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And not to put my wife out there, but she's not one particularly for keeping up with Joneses, keeping up with the news. Mm-hmm. Only the things that kind of shows up on her radar, and things on her radar, fitness models, things like that are not on her radar. Sports are not on her radar. But yet, Tina knows who she is.
Okay.
So,
may I ask how she knows who she is?
TikTok.
Yep.
So I guess she has a 8-minute ab program that she's putting out there.
Yeah.
She's promoting like heavy. And so it's in that circle.
Okay.
In terms of, women getting in shape and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, this to me with AEW, this is like a double strategic move on their part. For one, they're definitely tapping into another demographic, which explains to me a demographic in which, the industry in general is hurting in, but in particularly with AEW and what we've criticized them about over, all this time. So they're definitely strategically tapping into that market. Also, it was just revealed just recently that WWE passed on her.
Mm-hmm. And she had a tryout earlier last year.
And we know how much AEW loves to continue to troll this company in every which way possible.
would you like a couple of bonus points about Miss Cargill?
Yes.
She is a viral sensation because of her cosplay as Storm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like the so now you have the number 1 and the number 2 best Storm cosplayers in AEW right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Big Swole's
Yeah.
But hers is pretty dope too.
Yeah.
But more importantly, yeah, she is signed to a multi-year contract.
And now Pac has competition for the best abs in AEW as well.
Yes.
Yeah, man, she did that, and all of a sudden, my first instinct was go.
Yeah.
She's also.
And to your point, Robert, when you said you want to see her, actually, it was you that said you want to see her deadlift. There's a video of her.
Yeah, I just saw
spine busting a 350-pound man.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh shit.
Like I said, physically she's got the goods. Like she's an athlete, but again, we have to see her in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just from obviously someone who's watched wrestling for a long time. From the spot they put her in, someone back there and having Brandy have that type of promo with her, someone believes highly of this young lady.
Hey.
So I'm not saying, she's the next whatever, but I definitely see the comparisons to Bianca Belair just from was a former athlete, just got in the game. She's got charisma, I give her that. Considering that was her first major promo ever. We can't even find anything in the indies of her doing a promo.
Not to mention, she graduated with a social science degree and a master's in child psychology. This woman is accomplished.
Who does that remind you of?
Kurt Angle.
Brandy.
Well, I'm just saying, as far as all these accolades and stuff like that and all these things, I'm like, yo, that's a huge grab for them.
Yeah, it is. And
if you look at the Reddit, the threads, they're calling she's a star in the making, according to everybody else.
I mean, I see it from that perspective, but also I feel like you kind of have to. Also, like if this is the type of person, like Brandy's the only other person in a company that you need to make a certain type of statement with.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can take the pressure off of Brandy and don't have to worry about her trying to come up with gimmicks and stuff like that. And we can just kind of leave that alone. We can leave that to somebody who's actually, going to be actually wrestling in the ring and, someone we can actually build around so that Brandy could be an executive vice president and wrestle every once in a while. Yeah, you need to make a big deal out of this woman.
Yeah.
For everything that we've seen in this world, just this year, this year alone, and everything that we are holding, so we're holding AEW's feet to the fire when it comes to this women's division and representation. Like, yeah,
I'm willing to give her a shot. If they think that highly of her to put her, like Sean said, if they thought that highly of her to put her in a spot like that, this is their top prospect being called up to the majors.
And then the announcement of her signing a multi-year deal, and then her basically going to valet for Shaq.
So we can see kind of like almost like an interesting parallel when it came to like Ronda and how that came in with the hype and stuff like that. We're not saying that Jade Cargill is like a former UFC champion, but she's already, we're already, talking about the theory that it's going to be a mixed tag team match between Cody and Brandy, between Jade and Shaq.
Well, I mean, it's got to be something like low key for Shaq because Shaq is 54.
54. But he's still he's still the same monster that he was.
So anybody in their right mind is not excited to see Shaq wrestle.
He's 48.
He's 48.
Oh, okay.
He's 48.
You aged the shit out of him, bro.
But
no one is clamoring to see this guy wrestle.
He actually he has admitted he hasn't hit a treadmill in quite some time.
But he's one of those guys. I mean, even during his little TV, his Shaq Live show, he's just a larger than life personality.
Of course.
And he just happens to be on the same network that you're on, TNT.
Well, so we can't even say that anymore.
Nope.
Okay.
Because when he renegotiated his contract with TNT, he renegotiated the contract because he wanted to put something AEW related in his contract.
Or the freedom to do it.
Yeah.
Who's been? I mean, Shaq is one of those guys that's up there when it comes to business savvy outside of the NBA.
That's an understatement, man.
Yeah,
exactly. So if he's putting that in his contract, he's identifying this as that. Hey, let me attach my flag to this rocket ship. Hey, I'm all for it.
I mean, we know he's a wrestling fan, and we know he's shown up in the WWE a few times, and I'm pretty sure it's
pretty sure this cancels him ever going back to the WWE.
Exactly. I mean, I'm pretty sure that was TNT stands. So I was like, okay, you want to continue to do this wrestling stuff? We have a wrestling company now, so you don't need to fool with the other company anymore. Exactly. But at the same time, I feel like Shaq. There was a video of him like signing his contract, and he seemed pretty excited about AEW. He mentioned Tony Khan. He mentioned Cody by name. You know what I mean? And he seemed like genuinely like excited to be a part of this. And he had to, like, that was the deal. Like, they had a deal for him, and he pushed it back. Like, no, I need some AEW stuff in this contract. Mm-hmm. So that right there puts AEW over big. I'm think like that segment or that video that came out, like the very next show, like they game busters in numbers. So that's the star power of Shaq. That's very big for AEW.
That's huge. That's huge.
And once again, they have a plan for it. So whether or not we are clamoring to see Shaq climb into this ring, we did see Instagram posts yesterday or today.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was with QT Marshall and Shaq in the Nightmare Factory. So
getting them into shape already.
They're taking it seriously, and they have a plan.
I'm going to trust it at this point. Yeah. I'm going to trust it because.
Well, I think of this. I think of words that he said, Tony Khan, several months ago, and just last week. Several months ago, he said, we got stuff in our bucket that we're purposely holding on to.
Mm-hmm.
Shaq could easily be one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And he teased this as a big deal even before the show, saying that, like the shape of wrestling is going to change, over the next few weeks. And, definitely name dropping someone like Shaq. He's going to get some eyebrows raised, we'll see if he shows up. I think if you're going to see Shaq show up, it's going to happen before the NBA season starts.
That's exactly, you took the words right out of my mouth. I'm like, the season starts on the 22nd. So this is,
and it could be a perfect crossover lead-in right before the season starts. I do not think this will lead to a pay-per-view match. Maybe a special on,
Dynamite.
TNT.
Yeah.
Because TNT is going to want that money.
Yeah, it's gonna be a TNT deal for sure.
TNT.
And it's safe there.
Mm-hmm.
And
even if it's something that you could pre-tape,
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you could pre-tape it, it can be done. You could pre-tape this.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that too. But I think you'd probably want to do it. Let's fast forward to December 22nd. They're gonna do it probably. What their studios are in Atlanta, right? They could do it.
Yeah. Yeah, TNT's in Atlanta.
What happens?
Nightmare Factory's in Atlanta.
Yep.
Cody lives in Atlanta.
Technically, you can just do it right there in the TNT studios outside.
I mean, I figure we at least have to get Cody Rhodes on NBA on TNT.
You're gonna. That's what I'm saying. This is now you're starting to see TNT starting to do this. There's going to be much more. Just the infusion of Shaq and the NBA fan base now. So now you're going to get a bunch of new guys on this product.
Yeah. AEW's good. Tony's right. AEW's good.
You're fine.
When your network wants to have fun with you, they don't just have you there
exactly
to get them ratings. Like, they want to actually do things with you. You're good.
Yeah, no, they're in a good place, and it's like, okay, cool. We're talking about making friends. Why not make friends with you? See what's up with the friend that brought you on. This is gonna be fun. I'm pretty excited about it.
You know what? It also lends to everyone take a deep ass exhale as it relates to AEW situation with TNC.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
because everybody was nervous when boy got let go.
Yeah, right.
Something like this should give everybody a reason to exhale that anxiety you were feeling about this situation. Because Shaq is one of TNT's biggest entities, period.
He's the biggest.
Unfortunately, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That and
if
all
they're willing to bring him over to this entity, that means they have faith in this working. Mutually beneficial for all parties.
And Shaq's such a fanboy, and it's not like faked interest or faked enthusiasm.
No.
Dude's really gonna nerd out like we would if we saw him walk into, the Allstate Arena during a pay-per-view. Like, oh shit, it's Shaq. He's a larger than life personality.
Now I'm thinking Shaq food DLC for the AEW wrestling game.
I'm thinking Papa John's is the official pizza of the AEW too.
It's already low all over the place.
Right? Look, it's smelling like wood in here because we're already thinking of all the possibilities that they've already have on a contract.
And one more thing, just to put a little bit of cherry on this stuff. Shaq lives in Orlando and is also the brand spokesman for Carnival Cruise Line, which is based in Florida.
Who does Jericho cruise with?
Norwegian. But he had that contract before AEW.
Has that been
that deal? That deal was set in place before AEW.
Okay.
Has the next Jericho cruise been postponed yet? Or
yeah.
Okay.
It's 2022.
Okay. Yeah, so he's got to finish out his 90-day contract.
Well, and I'll say this from someone who's been on a Carnival cruise ship. Carnival cruise ships couldn't hold a cruise like that. Not in their the way they make their cruise ships.
Oh, okay.
There's not a lot of open space out on the decks for that kind of thing.
But there is room for Shaq and his Carnival advertising dollars for AEW.
For sure. Oh, that crossover can happen in a heartbeat. So we'll see.
Bash at the Beach?
No, it's not Bash at the Beach anymore. What do they call it?
They can do the Fighter Fest. That's about They gave Bash at the Beach back to WWE and all the other WCW nicknames for in exchange for the naming rights for Cody Rhodes.
So speaking of Cody,
Cody Rhodes. We can call him Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. Give him his full name. He got it.
Cody
back.
Rhodes.
He traded all of WCW's soul for it.
Straight up. Cody had a very interesting interview over the last 24 hours.
Oh boy.
In which he laid out briefly the AEW contract structure. There are several tiers. There's tier 0, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and tier Jericho. Those are Cody's words, not mine. Tier 0 is basically just agreed to peer. You're signed for a certain amount of dates, and you are told for what dates you appear for, and that's how much you get paid for. Period. They didn't really go into specifics on as you reach up to tier 1 and stuff like that, but they basically say it's a pay structure, a weekly pay structure as your base contract.
I like getting paid every week.
Straight up.
Me too. Straight up.
Everybody is given important things to do to them based on their tier. So basically, the higher your tier, probably the more responsibilities you have or more input you have on the overall product, etc.
Yeah, I got the article from Wrestling Inc.
Yeah.
He also he was telling them during the interview he had no idea if Red Velvet was officially signed with the company or not.
I mean, I could see that. I could see that when you have 5 EVPs. I could see that happening, especially if you don't have just like one gatekeeper as it relates to talent. I can see each person having their own, I don't say focus.
Okay, look, EVPs. Look, remember, BlackBerry's not a thing anymore. It's because they had two CEOs, so y'all to be careful with this.
Yep. So he broke it down, and he said that many of the indie talents that we've seen on these on the shows have been signed to their tier 0 contract, remarking over how much they make in bonuses. It also allows them the first option to sign them while guaranteeing them a certain amount of dates. Also discussed the other tiers that you were saying, but agreed to appear as a tier 0 meaning, which they'll get a bonus. And apparently Tony Khan is super generous with his bonuses. So he said, if you ask some of these extras what they're making for being there, my dad would have lost it. But he's right. It's the COVID era. They have no other work. It's just a signing bonus and exclusivity to us in terms of we get a first option, and that's how he believes it works. And we guarantee you an X amount of dates, like 5 dates for that. So that's pretty cool to understand, especially with guys like Warhorse. Eddie Kingston is now on a contract with them, if I'm not mistaken.
Did we congratulate Top Flight?
Yes.
Congratulations to Top Flight. They actually got a contract, right? Like a real contract?
I believe it's because they did the whole announcement. And then they're wrestling right off the bat on Wednesday. They're premiering Wednesday on Dynamite.
Yeah, because Airwolf is one half of Top Flight, and Airwolf is a staple in Chicago indie wrestling. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, that's great news. And then they're going against the Bucks, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Hey, your champions are going to elevate this brand new talent, right? But it's not like we need more tag teams. But I'm okay with it.
You know what? It's like on the one hand, I'm with you, but on the other hand, the other companies are doing such a bad job with tag teams.
Yeah. Why not unquestionably have the strongest tag team division across the board?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean.
All right. Speaking of tag teams. I know this is a deep dive, but I got excited today because a certain tag team teased a reunion today on separate videos, and that would be the 4 Workhorsemen. JD Drake,
yes,
Anthony Hendry put separate videos out within minutes of each other, talking about reuniting the passion with wrestling. I need this to happen in 2021.
So the last time we checked in, Hendry was out.
He quit. He quit the game.
Yeah. I think he was going to work dates, but this is before COVID, but he was going to work dates, and that, the end of 2020 was his retirement. JD
Right.
Drake, on the other hand, was in limbo because where WWE pretty much absorbed Evolve.
They did not take him.
They didn't take him.
Yep. Basically, Anthony suffered the same thing I think Greg Mitchell suffered, which is some burnout.
Yeah. It was they were working him in Evolve with the intention of trying to get him signed to NXT. When NXT passed on him the first time, he still felt like he had a chance, but Evolve was like, nah. Like, that was your shot. You didn't get it.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to push you anymore, in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, yo, if that's the way they feel, like, if they really just going to lock the door on the thing that I want to do the most, then I'm done.
Basically.
Thank God for other options. And if you guys are in good health, mentally, emotionally, and physically, yeah, I want to see this. We have to see this. If you're not familiar with the Workhorsemen, they're like one of the best tag teams out there on the indies. I didn't watch much Evolve. So the fact that these guys I didn't get a chance to see these guys at the tag team on Evolve. I don't know if that's what the deal is with that. Because they're so great as a tag team everywhere else. And I'm with them. However they want to do this, whatever they want to do, like if they're just going to give us another year of greats on the indie, or they're going to really try to do something, I support them because they are a great tag team.
I'll tell you where I want them to go.
Mm-hmm.
I want them in Impact.
Yeah.
Because I don't want there to be a monopoly on tag team wrestling. And I would love to see them in like a program with the North, a program with the Good Brothers, and just have that tag team division step up its game to a higher level. So that way we can sit here and argue in 2021 about who has the best tag team division. That'd be fun to me.
I support that.
And Impact seems to have the same motto as, or freedom as AEW when it comes to letting their wrestlers go do indie dates as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would support their ability to, film, go to wherever they got to go to tape Impact and then go make their circuit on the indies.
Yep, I like that. I like that as well because I also feel like in 2021 we're going to see more of these non-WWE wrestling companies be friends.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's laughing at WWE collectively.
Mm-hmm.
While they're releasing top stars who are screaming unionization on the way out. That's exactly how 2020 is going to end. Everybody else looking at them.
when we talking about this, I need somebody to check on Paige right now.
Hey.
I just saying.
Paige is kikiing on the phone with Zelina. I'm sorry, Thea.
Yeah.
Right now, because this is probably like a nice little balance from all the bad shit that she's dealt with over the past couple weeks.
Because she did she responded that this sucks on her Twitter to the news, but we'll see. She is one of the first to respond to it, so. And that'll be interesting as well to see if any other stars openly respond. Because of the obvious message WWE is trying to send with this release, quote unquote.
Yo, the AFL-CIO tweeted to Zelina Vega on her unionization tweet.
There you go.
Let's go. It's not going to happen, but come on.
There's not one person that's like talking shit right now, and I'm scrolling. Everybody's saying, "See you on Twitch." Oh. This is a good Friday the 13th.
Shh. Ain't over yet.
I mean, look at
you know who it is in the Good Friday the 13th for, or actually has to be sitting in their chair right now, just scratching her head.
Those
Lana
from Crystal Lake.
Lana.
Oh,
Lana's got to be real confused right now. On TV
or concussed.
She has been in any other mindset. What we would see to her would be burial as it relates to wrestling. But apparently she's getting a Chronicle done for her the day before Survivor Series.
Interesting. Is it gonna be shot at a Home Depot where they're looking at tables?
And apparently, according to multiple reports, Wrestle Talk, Wrestle Inc., Ringside News, others, this is considered a push in WWE, what she's receiving.
Yeah, it's a weird push, but it's a push.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been featured on TV every week. She has an ongoing storyline.
She's going to be in the Survivor Series match.
Yeah, she's on Team Raw for that Survivor Series match.
People are calling for her to be the sole survivor somehow.
Did you see what WWE wrote as the tagline for this? Ever wonder what Lana's life is like when she's not being driven through the announce table on Raw?
That is not the actual tagline.
It's on WWE.com. Luckily, you'll be able to see for yourself soon enough, as Lana today revealed that she will be the subject of the next episode of the WWE Chronicle.
Well, we don't wonder what goes on in her personal life because her TikTok is popping. We were pretty much up to date with what's going on.
Yep. It's not an ad. Not an ad. That's cool. I mean, yeah, we'll see. I'll watch it because those Chronicles have been pretty damn good.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it leaves you scratching your head about.
It's like, what else is there to know about you? You put it everywhere.
Lana's also going to the WWE Hall of Fame too. It's just
yeah,
next stuff for that.
The only active Hall of Fame wrestling today. All right, let's go. That's good. Anything to keep her away from where her husband's at? Ish.
I don't know, man.
I'm just dying at that WWE. Ever wonder what Lana's life is like when she's not being driven through the announce desk on Raw? Yeah, we see it. Total Divas, TikTok, Instagram. She's easily one of the most accessible WWE superstars on the roster. Yeah, we know what she's up to. She's pissed. She's concussed. They did a little Instagram story of her leaving a clinic because she's got a head wrap on her because she's hurt. Damn. Good stuff.
What can you say?
Perfect timing because nap time is over, right?
Oh, look at that! Look at that! That's exactly what the question was asked earlier. It's like, are you guys trying to record right before your special guest star makes his appearance? I'm like, most likely.
Yep.
What up, JB?
JB, what do you think about Jade Carghill?
Superstar. Yeah. Yo, I knew that name sounded familiar. That was Brandon Phillips.
Yeah, that was his girl.
Brandon Phillips,
right?
Mama, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, this was interesting. This was much more promising, optimistic episode that we've had with stuff that except for the Undertaker part. I'll go back and watch that. You guys politely talk about the and it's like, did somebody bring up the part that I said about the nostalgia part? Because
No, we didn't get into that because I had a comment about nostalgia. As we sit here on the 15th year anniversary of losing Eddie Guerrero, how the WWE loves to tap into nostalgia, and arguably one of the stars who, at least from a fan perspective, is held up just as high as any other wrestling star in the history of professional wrestling, doesn't get used for anything except for when it's time to talk about today.
We'll lead in with that for the next episode.
Yeah.
Episode 99.
Mm-hmm.
2099. Because you know what 2099 means? That means I'm about to go play some Spider-Man.
I got one.
I'll watch
one teasing hot take for the next episode.
Hot take.
House shows are dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You have seen your last house show.
Are we okay with that though? I mean, I don't want to see Brock Lesnar in a random ass match against, who was it? Babe, who did Brock Lesnar wrestle at that house show that we went to at the United Center? Yeah. No, was it? No, it wasn't. I think it was Roman Reigns. I think it was Brock and Roman at a house show, the last house show that I'll ever see with the, and that was at the United Center.
I think indie shows are the new house shows.
I'm cool with that as long as we could put those indie shows in larger capacity places.
What's up?
Oh, it was Finn Balor when they were going at back and forth.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That was quick.
Ouch. All right.
They didn't even go. They came out of the 200 section and thank you for coming. Good night.
All right, people, let's do this. JB, send us out.
We gotta record him once he gets fully up and running. We gotta record him doing the outro.
JB is such a diva, though. He only works under certain conditions.
Okay.
And these aren't one of them right now.
No.
Got it.
We are two ground crackers and a glass of milk short of cooperation right now.
Want some strawberry milk right now.
Just remember that this podcast is and will forever be for the culture. Remember that you vote with your dollars. Your attention is currency. And even if you are a mark, make sure you leave a positive mark on his life.
Night.
Deuces. Can't see my own fingers. All right, bye.
Now you can see your fingers. Well, now you can do. So you got all that shit in the background.